All right, welcome back to the Crease Dive. I am Doogs, joined by Nest, Jordy, still a sex haver. Hopefully we get him soon. Nest, how you doing? How you feeling? How we be?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's Thursday. I'm staying loose. March Madness is kicking up. Nice little treat during the lacrosse season. Just having fun, baby. Going down to Cabrini tomorrow, so I'll be fired up.
Yeah, sorry guys for missing last week. I've been very busy with just college basketball shit. It's been pretty hard to kind of tell my bosses to fuck off that I have to do my college lacrosse podcast instead. So, yeah, I mean, I try to get it done, but this week and last week's been pretty hectic. Not going to lie. I think that out of all college lacrosse podcasters in the world, I might have watched the least amount of college lacrosse in the past 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean that your boy Dukes doesn't have some opinions that probably aren't validated. Right now, sorry for my scratchy voice. Right now, I'm in Dayton, Ohio. Nest, I went to the first four last night. So it's game day. I'm bringing the energy to this podcast. I mean, I'm fucking jazzed out of my mind. But some controversial topics coming off in the lacrosse world. I mean, we're going to be back to normal basically like next week. The schedule will start slowing down during the week, so I'll be more tuned in. We'll be more consistent on putting out the shows on Thursdays. But yeah, the past 2 weeks have just been hectic, and it's kind of what it's been the past 2 years when I've been on it. But we'll hit the general topics. We won't go game by game. We'll talk about the big news. We'll talk about a little bit of preview of the games. But again, I got like basically less than an hour until my life turns into war mode. Battling game by game, hour by hour. So let's get into this. All right. I guess we'll go straight in to last night. Or you know what? Let's not do last night. Let's do the big topic that everyone wants to talk about because people don't think that we respect the troops. Army, number one in the country.
Yep.
Undefeated, right?
Yep.
Are they the best team in the country, Ness?
They're one of the best teams in the country. I don't think I know who the best team in the country is. It's hard with, Notre Dame and Virginia right there. I personally think Duke has sort of slipped out of my number one team in the country conversation. I hate to say it. I still respect those boys down there, but I think it's probably between Virginia, Notre Dame, and Army. I mean, those three teams they're proven to be consistent over the weeks, and with Virginia, Notre Dame with one slip up each, you can't knock them, but it's also hard to knock Army being undefeated. I'd love to see their next big battle. I think they got UNC coming up. So if they can stay hot, shout out the troops, shout out Cons, he's staying tapped in with Army, and shout out all the boys who are riding. I think they're the new America's team now that NJIT has lost. So
all respect to the troops, Nest, over here. It's all love from me. But it's all love from me, troops. But I don't think number one team in the country necessarily means the best team in the country right now.
I agree.
Because let's just look a little bit at their schedule a little bit, all right? I'm not going to say anything. 1 goal win to start the year against UMass. Good program. 16-7 win over Rutgers. Great win for a down year in Rutgers, some would say, in the past compared to the last couple of years. Mercer, 15-7. 1 goal win at Cuse. Great win. Then Lafayette, Holy Cross, Lehigh.
I think
now let's look at Notre Dame's. Cleveland State, Marquette, overtime loss to Georgetown. Maryland 14-9. Ohio State 13-10. Michigan 19-9. Now you tell me, if I told you that, who's the best team in the country?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I mentioned Notre Dame. I think you got to go Notre Dame there just a little bit, because of the strength of schedule. And that defense in Notre Dame's not messing around. They got Chris Conlon down there locking down. They got Edmond in net. Those guys are ready to play. I would have loved if Notre Dame was playing Army in the regular season. I mean, that would be a game. Just put everything you got going on the side and lock into that game. But No, I agree with you. I don't think them being number one makes them the best in the country. Just like I don't think, Virginia or Notre Dame not being number one doesn't make them the best. But I think at this point, being undefeated is one to tip your cap to, just like we would to the troops normally, tip your cap. They're right there. They're right there. Yeah. They're right there. Oh, yeah. You should go no hat. Game day, no hat.
So I got a haircut. I mean, now we're not even talking lacrosse or basketball. I got a haircut. It went short for like the first time in a while, but I don't have any of my fucking product because I'm on the fucking airplane. I bring my little like sea salt spray. Shout out to anybody that knows what sea salt spray is. And they fucking confiscated it. That liquid rule. I don't know why there's a liquid rule. And whoever fucking can make a bomb out of that much liquids, go fuck yourself. You ruined a good thing, and you ruined $20 for me. But yeah.
I'll be honest. It doesn't look bad. I wouldn't worry about the product. You look money. It's game day. It's game day.
It's game day. All love for the troops. Let's go into this. So you were talking about how you don't think Duke's in that conversation anymore. They got shellacked last night by Syracuse 10-4. People on the internet asking where Brendan O'Neill is. Asking is he? I saw this guy Brandon Mangan who played at Yale. He was asking some questions about Brendan O'Neill. Does he have effort on the field? Does he always bring it? Does he kind of walk around? Does he have the killer instinct? Kobe, Michael, Tom all had that killer instinct every time they stepped on the field. Does Brendan have that?
I don't think I'm in a place to take it away from him. I might need to look a little bit more into it, maybe body language, how he carries himself. How I view it is,
Wait, that's hilarious, by the way. Sorry. Nestler just watching highlight films, but it's just if he walks on the field. Not watching his goals. just studying the body language. Yeah.
It's what's he doing after he turns it over? What's he doing on the ride? I feel like I can sniff that out. I've never watched Brendan O'Neill play and been like, this kid doesn't care. He's not giving it his all. He's a freak of nature. I would be very shocked if he remains missing. At the same time, we got to kind of give him that, credit where I'm sure every defense's plan is we're sliding fucking early to Brendan O'Neill. We're not going to let Brendan O'Neill beat us. And if the other five guys on offense can beat us, then it is what it is. So I'm sure he's getting hell from other teams. But based off his history as a lacrosse player, I don't think he's going to be missing for long. So I'm not ready to label him as, not an effort player or not showing up in big games or not having that instinct just yet. I'm not saying he does have that instinct, but I don't think I can rule that he doesn't. So I would just watch out for Brendan O'Neill. The second a team sleeps on him, he can go and put up 7-2 on you real quick. So we'll see. We'll be keeping a close eye. Make sure he's hustling.
Yeah, I don't also think I don't know. I think with the college kids, it's so hard to tell. I would imagine. I think I don't think last night was the game to pick apart Brendan O'Neill. I think it's the game to credit Will Mark. I mean, he just had a fantastic game. Caught a little bit of the highlights last night. What I saw on Twitter, just a brick wall. So I don't think I don't think whenever someone plays a good game like that, necessarily you should take away from his game and start slandering what the good players should have done. And you're right. I forget Muley said it about Spillane, not Spillane, Spallina the other week. They draw the best defenders. They get double teamed all the time. Fucking shout out Odierna, the Manhattan coach who went up to Syracuse and he's the defensive coordinator. I mean, he's a fucking amazing up and coming coach. One of the best. He coached Brendan Krabs. Manhattan had a good program underneath him, great defenses underneath him, stingy defenses. They let up 7 to 8 goals a game. So I think they just had a good plan against Brendan O'Neill and that Duke attack and offense. But I do think that Duke by May will be fine. I think Josh Sawada is a stud. I still think that Denanz is very slept on. I like a lot about the Duke roster, but yeah, at this point in the season, I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, and I agree with that little part you put in there about when it comes May, you don't have to be the best team in the country to win it all. If the best team in the country won it all every year, there'd be no point of watching the tournament. It would sort of be over when it started. Duke is not a team you're going to want to see in the tournament. I can guarantee you there's no one in the country that's like, oh, I hope we see them in the first or second round.
Yeah.
And if you are saying that, you're a fucking idiot. And then I am going to root for Duke. I hope Brandon O'Neal goes for 10 on your head. So they're still up there. It's not that we're slandering Duke. It's just they got railroaded by Cuse. I think Will Marks went like 79%. That's outrageous to do against a team like Duke. He's also coming off a weekend where I think he was also in the high 70s against Delaware. He is locked in. He's eating shots with his body, saving with his hands. He might be one of the best goalies in the country, right behind Liam. I honestly think he's playing the best in the country right now, without a doubt.
You'll get no complaints from me. Let's talk about a couple other games. Let's talk about another couple games from the weekend. St. Joe's beat Penn Tuesday night, but that's not really the story from that game I want to talk about. It's more of a debate and something that was circulating online. Edward Arnold picked up a goalie stick, but a long pole goalie stick, and they used that as a strategy to defend on the double team. So instead of having a goalie in on the field, they subbed out the goalie, brought in another pole, gave him a goalie head so he's legally on the field. Nestler, what's your take on this? Do you think that was a smart strategy? It didn't work out. Do you think it's a smart strategy, though, and something that we could see in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's, beneficial. Like, I feel like it's got to be heavy, harder to run with. I don't know if that kid is comfortable with that. Like, let's say that ball does go on the ground. How comfortable is he picking that up and clearing it with a long pole goalie stick? I'd almost rather you can give the guy a normal goalie stick and have him go lock someone far away. I don't think you need to have him starting on the ball. To me, that just seems like the wrong strategy. I think you put your two best poles, two best athletes with their normal sticks on the ball. You get a good double and you go from there. When I was doubling late in games, I was notorious for just doing something so stupid.
I was legitimately I sorry to interject here, but I knew that was coming from a mile away. Because when I was getting ready to think about what I was going to say, I was like, yes, like I agree with you. I actually think I agree with you on the all-in-ball thing. I think you just get your two best poles. I think the only strategy there is they definitely practiced it before. One, you could also have like a kid like me who's like, I grew up playing goalie, long stick. I could kind of like do whatever, and I'm not like uncomfortable with the stick. The second thing is like if you get one lift with that goalie head on like somebody's elbow or like on that stick, it's way easier to lift up. So like that was one thing I thought of. But then going into that, I knew you were going to be like, I don't know, like I want the goalie on the field, like like I thought you were going to go that angle, and I was going to be like, you definitely like RKO'd people out there.
I was notorious for when if it was out of reach and that time's ticking down, I'm either diving at someone's legs, laying a late hit, or like just doing something stupid. My last play ever was actually whistle blew and I obliterated some kid on Salisbury, put him into the turf. I felt so bad. But my coach actually tried to take me out during one of those instances and put in, a taller, more athletic goalie. And I snapped. I was like, you're not taking me out, blah, blah, blah. And then I got a penalty, and my coach laid the fuck into me after the game. He was like, don't you ever question me in front of the team ever again. Like, you'll never suit up. And I was like, fuck, like, there's really not much I can say. I kind of just went out there, took a penalty, and once that happened, the game was over. But no, I'm with you with the lift. I mean, and you can also make the argument if that kid tries to make a pass, snagging that pass with that goalie head is 100 times easier than the long pull. So, I think it's a good idea. I just don't know if he needs to start on him. Like maybe be that next guy. Then you're locking adjacent. Then you can make that interception. So
yeah, I also think it's a bad visual too when you get blown by. But like more than anything, I just thought it was a bad angle.
Yeah, they didn't.
Rather than anything else, like because I do agree with you. Like, did it slow him down? Was he not comfortable with it? Like, it's all fair questions. But I'm like, more than anything, I just thought it was shitty defense.
Yeah, no, they really didn't come out on a good angle. I'm a big believer if you're going to get beat on a double, you got to let him go. If he gets around you, there was no point of doubling. It used to be one of the most stressful things watching your defenders do. You go for a double, and he just runs right around the one guy. Because that was your only fucking job, was to not let him run around you. So, yeah, I'd be interested. Someone said that they're going to ban it. I don't know. That seems like a stupid thing to ban. I don't think it's a huge advantage. So we'll see. I thought it was cool. I think it's innovative. I'd love to see I'd love to see it work. That'd be good for the goalie brand if that worked. Just having that head out there.
Head. Speaking of head, go more head. More head.
Really?
Yes,
Whoa,
please.
whoa.
Yes, please. Cornell beat Princeton 15-14 on a buzzer beater. Long pole, slung it from deep. Got the win. Not much else to say about that. I feel like Cornell they kind of avoided catastrophe, where they were dropped back-to-back losses over Denver, Penn State, and Princeton, with wins only over Lehigh, Hobart, Ohio State. So that was a big-time win, big-time goal.
Yeah, they quite literally stole it. I mean, especially Princeton had the ball at the end. All they had to do was not turn it over and let up a fast break goal, and you're at least going to overtime. I think Cornell's got to find a better recipe on defense. I feel like they're consistently letting up, 14, 15, even more goals.
They lost a good goal.
Yes, CJ Kirst didn't have the best day in the office, but there's a lot of guys on Cornell's roster that can pick up the slack. So I think it's cool to see where Kirst can go. I think he had one goal that day, and just everyone else on the offense erupted. So I don't think Cornell's offense is in trouble, especially when Kirst can get going, then they're really gelling. I just think they got to worry about that defense. Chase Erlin's, having the time of his life over at Hopkins, and I know he doesn't like to see his boys lose, but it's a good confidence boost to be like, oh, they're struggling a little bit without me in there. So shout out Chase Erlin, and shout out the boys at Cornell. Go get another one.
Navy beat your Hopkins 10-9.
Yeah.
Overtime. Missed this one. Anything you want to add to this game?
Just for starters, I think Hopkins might have slept a little bit on Navy. I don't think Navy's had a good year really at all. That win feels great for those boys. Shout out Navy. Respect to Cap. But I think Hopkins might have underestimated him, didn't come out firing. There was one controversial play that was all over Twitter of a Hopkins guy butt-ending a Navy guy.
I saw that.
I think it was the most accidental thing ever to happen. I just don't think the way it looks on TV is the way the announcers were reacting to it. The announcers were acting like the guy took his stick, wound up, and drilled the guy in the nuts.
Who was announcing? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It might have been Quint.
Oh.
And I think he was saying, like, that's a misconduct, that's a flagrant. I was like,
he was going against Hopkins?
It just looks like the guy. I think so. I think because it was the Hopkins guy hit the Navy guy right in the nuts, and he was down. But it looked accidental. It looked like the guy was simply just trying to get your stick in front of him, you try to get a quick get off. And if it was on purpose, I don't know. Maybe a sneaky move, but I think Lax Twitter might have overreacted a little bit, but it sort of died down once the weekend Lax started up. So Navy ended up getting rolled 5 days later by Nova. So, and fuck Villanova. They bought Cabrini. Is what it is.
Couple more games just to recap really quick. NJIT no longer undefeated. Lost to Vermont 12-9. Are you happy that the NJIT talk is kind of over, or did you love it?
I didn't love it. I'm not happy it's over, though. I was happy for those guys. I was never in on the, NJIT this, NJIT that. Maybe I should have given them a little bit more flowers, but I don't know. Good for them. I don't think when they lost, I was like, fuck yeah, like they're not undefeated anymore. I think it would have been cool to see them go all the way. I still think they're a sneaky, sneaky, sneaky team to win their conference tournament. I don't think there's a team in their conference that's going to like walk through everyone. I'd love to see him win it. I might even need to look into, potential DraftKings bets for that. See if they can make the tournament. I know DraftKings has championship odds and stuff like that. Love to see NJIT's odds to get into the tournament. If you're listening out there, DraftKings, let me know.
Yeah, but like the thing about NJIT that's like frustrating is like I think that people mistake a cool story for like one that like people actually think NJIT is a top 25 program. No, NJIT has been dog shit. When dog shit ends up winning like these games that they were losing to these not powerhouse programs, it's cool. Nobody's saying that like NJIT is a top 10 team in the country, or even like top 25. Like, is it cool if Inside Lacrosse puts them at like 20, the most meaningless spot maybe in like rankings history? Sure. But like, I see some people like dancing on NJIT's parade. Like, who gives a fuck? They don't even think they're probably like top 25 in the country. Like, could they win their conference? For sure. But like, I don't know. I saw some takes on Twitter where I was like, I think this is getting misconstrued a little bit. Like, they're just winning games they haven't won in the past. And like, that's cool to see.
I agree.
Like, I root for a team like that. Like, they also have like a sneaky, like, I think like pretty good defender. I forget his name, and I got to give him credits next episode. But like, I watched one of their games, and one of their defenders is sneaky really good.
Yeah, and they have 19 seniors and grad students, if my math is correct, and that's a recipe for success. Those boys have been through hell together, and if you're transferring into NJIT, you're either local or you have boys on the team, or you probably weren't getting a lot of ticks somewhere else, and you come in and you start winning games. So I know those boys are fired up. I hope they go out and get some more W's. I'm in their corner, but I'm certainly not going to be like tooting their horn. I don't do pity toots, if that's even the saying. I might have just made it up. But no, so good for them. I'll be in their corner all year. I'm fine with that. I'm a Jersey boy.
Let's go 2 more things. Yale beat Harvard 17-15.
Yeah, Harvard was undefeated going into that game.
Yes. And here's my take. I think Yale's year in the Ivy might be this year, but I think that Harvard's really good. Like, I think they're also up and coming. I think Sam King next year is a Tewaaraton finalist.
Really? I love that.
Yeah, I think he's really good. I think the class is too loaded this year for him to get consideration, but I think he's 1 year away from being a serious contender for the Tewaaraton award.
I mean, yeah, he went 5-3 that game. What stood out to me is, Matt Brandau out of Yale, it just puts up like crazy numbers. He puts up 0 goals, 8 assists. You want to talk about a guy you want on your team? It's that guy. He's not having the best shooting day. He goes 0 for 6, and then he's just like, I'm just gonna fucking distribute the rock to everyone that exists on this field. That's a crazy amount of assists. I know he's been doing it for a long time. It's what he does. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. His stats blow me away every week. I love it. I love the way that guy plays. Maybe I'm on the Yale train. Just realizing it right now. I might be on it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I know they're missing Lyons, and they're missing one other kid.
Yeah, I think it's 2 of their top.
Leo Johnson. They're missing Leo Johnson and Chris Lyons, who are 2 of their better players from last year. So like Yale's only going to get better. I think Yale takes the Ivy this year. I don't know. I thought Cornell was going to be pretty fine. I think they are on the offensive side, but like you alluded to, defensively, I think they're missing Erlin a lot and Gavin Adler.
Yeah.
Going into the last like kind of preview or just recap, Virginia picked up 2 wins this weekend. They beat Maryland and they beat Albany. So big story coming out of that is Schellenberger passed Matt Moore for most points in Virginia history. Big fan of Shelley, big fan of his game. Congratulations to him. Yeah, for my 2 cents, I'd say he's a top 2 to 3 Virginia lacrosse player of all time.
Okay. I don't.
And if he wins one this year, I think he's the best.
I think a national championship will solidify him as the best. Just statistics wise, he's broken every record in less games than everyone before him. I think it's 56 games. Everyone else is up in the 60s, 70s. He's special, man. I give credit to Matt Brandau for the assists. Schellenberger does it all. Puts up 5 goals, puts up 7 assists, puts up 2 goals, 8 assists. Like he does it all, and that's another guy you just love to play with. He can spank it into the back of the net, but he can also shimmy past his guy, draw a slide, and he's dunking one over your head to fucking McCabe Millen coming across the middle. I love watching them 2 play together. I tasked McCabe Millen with getting Schellenberger's Curse of the Week shirt. I need them holding it up like a jersey swap. I'm huge for the brand, so shout out Schellenberger. And McCabe, do your job as a freshman and get him that T-shirt, please, and thank you.
Yeah, and like I know that like Steele Stanwick has like the Tewaratons, and like some Virginia players have that the award, but it's a little, from my opinion, it's a little weird because you have like the COVID year, which Wisnowski was like my age, and he graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like 24 playing with like college kids, which like I'm not saying it's like a huge advantage, but it's a huge advantage. And and like Jared Bernhardt, like he only had the benefit of like one extra year, but still it's like a grad student. Like he kind of like he was going to win it in 2020, so then it pushes it back a year. Like probably could have gone to someone else. So I think and then last year, Brennan like rightfully won it in my opinion. Like Schellenberger's, like I think if Schellenberger got the Tewaaraton this year and he won a national championship, or even just either one, he's the best in my mind.
Yeah, I also just think lacrosse in general is in a different spot than it was back when like Steele played. I think the talent is that much better. I just think there's bigger, faster, more athletic guys, and I think it makes it harder to win a tour to necessarily. I'm not discrediting Steele Stanwick. He's one of the best players to ever play the game. But at the same time, I think you'd have to be like a blind person to say that lacrosse as a whole hasn't gotten more talented, especially at the Division I level, like across the entire board.
So that's that. In PLL news, they're over in Japan. It looks really cool. If RJ ever listens to this podcast, I'd love to sneaky get an invite one time and like just help grow the game. And maybe do like a live podcast with one of the fans in Japan. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud here, but yeah, let's go into the games of the weekend because I got to get out of here soon. Tomorrow, Army versus BU. Do you think in the spread's plus 4.5 on DraftKings? Odds and lines are subject to change. What's hashtag DK partner? What's gamble responsibly? What's your take on this? Do you think that BU could potentially upset Army? If you do, it's plus 410.
Yeah, if I'm a BU fan, I love that money line. No disrespect to the troops, I just think Boston University is sneaky. I think they got a good offense. I think their goalie, when he shows up, is very good. They came out early. I think it was against St. Joe's, maybe first week, and like really surprised me, which is like how they played. They kind of looked like mid-season form. I haven't caught a lot of Boston University games since then, but looking at their record and where they stand, I think that's definitely upset territory. If I'm Army, you got to get through these next two games. You got to weather the storm against BU, and you got to stay healthy and be ready to go against UNC because UNC's having a down year, but they got a lot of good fucking players. So I think these next two games for Army are sort of upset territory, and that's why I think if they can get through these next two, that will give them that little bit of a boost. Are they the best team in the country? So we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, I think I like BYU plus 4.5. In that one, I like BYU. I like Jack Rowlett. I like that program. I think they're sneaky. I think they're on the rise pretty fast. Princeton, Harvard plus 1.5, minus 105 in the money line, over under 26. Nessa, what's your pick in this one?
I'm taking Harvard. Coming off a loss. I know Princeton's also coming off a heartbreaking loss. I just think Harvard's a little bit better. The goalie in Harvard's real good. That offense is humming. They might feel like they got, one stolen from them from Yale, but at the same time, Princeton's feeling the same way, getting one stolen from them from Cornell. So I think it'll be a good game. So I'll take, you said what, plus 1.5?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take plus 1.5, maybe a 1-goal game. Maybe if Harvard loses by 1, I still cover there, but I expect a close one there, Harvard-Princeton. What about you, Doogs? I
like Harvard plus 1.5. I got to put my money where my mouth is, right?
Yeah.
I just talked so highly of Harvard. Even if I think that Princeton is a sneaky line, I have to take Harvard for all the kahunas. Then we got Yale, Cornell plus 2, over under 29. What you got?
Oof. I just said I was on the Yale train. I'm a cursed guy. Oh, give me the points with Cornell. Maybe if I'm feeling lucky, I sprinkle a little money line. I think it's going to be another close game. I think those two games are awesome. Just Ivy League battles. So we'll see if Cornell's defense can show up. Maybe they'll be humming after that pull goal to win it. Then I think they can walk away with it. You got to find a way to stop Yale from scoring because Yale's offense is dangerous. So, and I need CJ Kirst to come out and give me like 4 and 3. I got a shirt waiting for you, Kirsty. Come on.
Then we got Maryland, Michigan +3. Oh, also I'm taking Yale in that one, and I'm taking the over. Maryland, Michigan +3, over under 24.5. Who do you have?
Maybe Maryland. I think I just don't think I like the Michigan coach. I just like hated what he said before the season. I think he kind of just looks like a tool. Probably a good dude. I'm sure if I saw him, I'd shake his hand. I'd be like, very nice to meet you. But I don't know. I think he put a target on his team's back. I think Maryland's kind of been pushed around a little bit this year. I think they lost to Notre Dame and Virginia, so they're going to be pissed. Need that Maryland goalie, McManey, I need him to lock in, step up. He typically one of the better goalies in the country. Don't know if he's been living up to that standard this year. No goalie slander from me. But if he can lock in, we know that Maryland offense can score. So I'll take Maryland. I'll give the points. I'll give them. That's fine. What about you?
I guess I'll just take Michigan. I think I just hate Maryland, but I respect Maryland. I don't think I like Tillman.
Yeah, another guy that I think kind of comes off.
It's crazy. I used to love Tillman. I think that it's not even Maryland's players or their program that I hate. I think it's legitimately just Tillman I do not like.
Yeah, that's
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm so blinded by it. But anything that I say about Maryland, you guys should take with I mean, I know you know at this point, but you really shouldn't listen to me. It's pure blind hate for Tillman.
Yeah,
I just don't like his style. Things I've heard, just
same.
I don't know. It's not like him as a coach I respect. There's also times where I will say where Tillman does do Belichick and I love Belichick, but we're just Belichickian shit where everyone's so mad where when he outsmarts someone, I love it. It's sometimes other shit I actually didn't hate the glove check, to be honest. I loved the glove check. I couldn't respect it more. Because
I think you're talking yourself back into liking Tillman right now.
Yeah, I think because the glove check was so I still stand by this. If he knew that was a rule that could give his team an extra possession, and I was on that team and I knew he found out that rule, but he didn't want to say it because people on Twitter like me and you would think that he's a tool bag, and he didn't give us an extra possession because he didn't want to be hated or whatever, I'd be like, Coach, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you know that rule and you could help your team, you use that rule. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I think he's one of those guys that's probably easier to like when you're on the squad. Again,
I doubt that. I doubt that's true.
I think it's maybe easier to respect him because it's that Belichick kind of vibe. This guy might be kind of an asshole, maybe a hardo. Again, I've never met the dude. I've never been within 100 feet of the dude. But like you said, he gives that kind of Belichick vibe. Maryland's been a top tier program for so long now. There's obviously someone in the front of that leading it. So when you're on the outside, it's kind of easy to be like, this guy's an asshole. This guy's a tool. He's a hardo. But I just think it's funny that the one thing a lot of people hate him for, and as you're coming on the record saying you don't like him, you're like, I love the glove check. I love it. So I didn't have a huge problem with the glove check. I don't know. What you just said made a lot of sense. If you're on his team, you love it. So it is what it is.
Let's look at
this weekend, Tillman.
Georgetown, Richmond. Richmond's -1.5. Over under 23. What you got?
Spiders. I am loyal to the Spiders. They were loyal.
Spiders. Richmond.
Yeah, it's easy. That's what we do.
Richmond.
Yeah. Very simple.
It's it's pretty tough to come up after you won the Super Bowl at South Bend.
Yeah.
When your Super Bowl's in February in week 3, it's tough. It's tough to get up for Richmond. So I'm going Richmond here.
Yeah, that Spider goalie's nasty as hell too. So shout out that guy. He's a wall between the pipes.
Some pretty good games on Sunday, actually. So crazy. It's just whew, why do you schedule good games this weekend? Go fuck yourself. Duke, Denver. Duke minus 3.5. Before you go, Duke minus 3.5. Play of the weekend.
Really? Play of the weekend. Duke minus 3.5.
Dude, talk about getting reamed out at practice. Talk about going on to Twitter. Talk about hearing the haters and dropping your dick down Denver's throat. Duke is going to slaughter Denver by more than 3.5 goals.
I think Denver plus 3.5 is free money. I don't even
That's
think
exactly that is exactly why I love that Duke. Everybody's thinking that. Like Duke is going to slaughter them. It's a comeback game. Danowski's probably ripping them apart. They will not lose back-to-backs. They will put up 19 goals easy. No, they won't. 15.
Yeah.
15 plus.
I could see 15-12, and I'm dancing away with my bag of money responsibly over my shoulder. Yeah, it seems like a trap. Seems like DraftKings is begging people to take Denver, and Vegas or the lax guy DraftKings, they know Duke's going to come out humming. So, but if I'm Denver, these kids look at the lines. They're not allowed to bet on them. I hope they're not betting on them.
No, they're not looking at the lines.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, there's kids on that team looking at those lines.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they aren't.
No, they're not.
And then what's the other games? Ohio State, Penn State. We got Ohio State plus 3. Who do you have in this one?
I mean, I think Penn State wins. I don't know if Ohio State keeps it close. What's the over in that game?
23.5.
I'll take the over. I think there'll be a lot of goals scored by Penn State. I'm not sure how much they win by, how close Ohio State keeps it, but I think Penn State's been sort of rolling since that week 1. Have they lost since week 1?
Nope.
Well, there's
yep. Kind of like what the storyline I said might be.
Yeah. I mean, people
I've been
forgot
wrong
real
a lot
quick,
this year
and I
for
might.
Penn State, yeah. TJ Malone's really good.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's
really good.
He's special.
Yeah, I don't know. I also just talking about a coach I don't like. I think I'm also blinded by Myers. I don't like him. I think he's a hardo who for the U18 roster just sucks off any Ohio State recruit. So I'm going with Penn State minus 3. And then to finish off this little recap, we got Hopkins against Rutgers. Rutgers plus 3. Who do you have?
Hop bounce back game. I think they come out firing. I think Crowley's going to have that offense humming. I think Erlin's going to be in the cage walling up. Yeah, give me Hop. No disrespect to the Rutgers boys.
I'm going under 23. Nestler, any curse of the week?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get right into it. Honorable mention, Matt Brandau. He just shows up. Like I said, 8 assists. That's not easy to do. He couldn't get the ball in the net, but he passes the ball around. That's unbelievable. Another honorable mention, give me Schellenberger breaking the all-time record at Virginia. That's back-to-back weeks with Shelley. He won it last week. Honorable mention this week. The winner of this week's Curse of the Week, first ever for this guy, first goalie of the year to win it. Will Marks out of Syracuse, an absolute wall. That's what he does. He shows up in big games. Showed up against Delaware. It's a big win. Delaware's not a joke. But then showing up like that again against Duke. Oh, on a Wednesday night, everyone's watching. Night before March Madness starts. That's a big game. Let up 4 goals. I'd love to see the last time Duke scored 4 goals. I would go on the record saying it's been 5-10 years. 4 goals is fucking nuts.
I'd say before 2010.
You're saying 2010? Yeah, I'm gonna say 08, 09. That
Pre-shot
5 years
clock
might even been
pre-shot clock.
Yeah.
I'm talking about keep it in and not shot clock after keep it in. I'm saying keep it in.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. 4 goals is
Maybe
nuts.
like when the
That's
horn was still in effect, like when the horn, like that's crazy
Oh.
that people grew up. It's crazy to me that people are playing lacrosse right now. They probably have no idea there used to be a horn.
insane. The horn was legendary back when we were little. I remember growing up. Oh, the horn, and it was just you get your subs on, you take your time. It was just such a funny concept, and the game has gotten
That was legitimately the horn. The horn was like this, like it was. There was a while where like you really could strategically just place your best athletes just on like you didn't have to worry about them like playing offense at all.
Yeah, it was wild. I think getting rid of the horn and adding the shot clock are going to be, when we look back on lacrosse when we're 70 years old, are going to be like the 2 best changes of the sport. The shot clock changed lacrosse for the better for all of eternity. And once all high schools start doing shot clock, lacrosse will be at its sort of peak. But until then, the high schools are just doing a disservice to themselves. The college has got it right. No disrespect to the PLL, but they're almost – are they overdoing the shot clock? They're trimming it down more and more every time I look at the rule book. So we'll see. I hope they don't trim it down anymore.
No, I think the PLL has it like completely right.
That's the model. You think it's gone with the 80 and the 60 and more with the – it's like 32 off the face-off and 50 off the –
52 total. I mean, I think 80 – honestly, I think 80 is fine for the size of the college fields compared to the size of the PLL field. But like, I do there is a part of me that wishes like I don't know. I think 80 is fine for college. I think it's kind of like college basketball to the NBA. Like obviously, it's going to be like a little bit longer for college kids compared to the pros. But like yeah, for professional lacrosse, I do like I do like the 52. All right, I'm gonna go change my brackets. I have to change my brackets before this. I'm like bugging. I gotta go change my brackets. All right. Good luck to everyone in March Madness this weekend. Follow us on our socials, subscribe, like, do all that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your cousin, tell your aunt. We will see you next time. Peace out.
Love you guys.